do you feel that the court rules should be reviewed on a regular basis to give all judges the opportunity to understand them and to express their opinion?
You're talking about the ethical rules that apply to judges in general?
That, along with the new political rules, yes.
Okay, that apply, but they apply to judges, not rules on other things.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I do. I think it's important that we have the rules, and I think it's important that we follow them, but it's also equally critical to make sure that they're applied, that they're written as fair rules, and that they're applied fairly. I think our judicial system in New Mexico has a lot of problems right now. We're losing judges from the bench at an average of one per month as a result of inappropriate behavior. So I definitely am in favor of having the rules. But I think that there are no rules, except maybe the Constitution, but there are basically no rules that don't have room to be improved. And I think they would benefit from not only from occasional periodic review, but also as things go along, especially with the new rules, as they go along, people start applying them. They realize, we made a mistake here, or this is too strict, or this isn't strict enough. And obviously, it's a flexible system. It should be a flexible system. As long as it ends up fair, I think that's the goal. If it ends up hurting either New Mexico or the judges or the practicing attorneys in some way, well, then it needs to be looked at.
A lot of people into this race. We got 5 candidates. What was your motivation for getting into this race, and why do you feel you'd be a good Supreme Court justice?
Well, my motivation basically for getting into it was that, number one, I didn't think we were offering up the best New Mexico has to offer. And I think we have to. I think we've seen too many things in the past 10, 12 years with courts, both nationally and locally, that give us pause. And it is clear that this group of people, and by group of people I mean not only the Supreme Court justices, but all of the judges and justices in the state, have real serious issues facing them with regard to politics, with regard to people's human rights, with fairness, representation of minorities, complicated issues that didn't even exist 20 years ago regarding technology, etc. And I might add, with regard to tribal issues in this state, with as many tribes as we have, and as many tribal people that we have, and with the problems that we have, everything from water rights to gaming to tax issues, etc. I thought it was important that we have at least one person, ideally more, but at least one person on the Supreme Court who has a working familiarity with tribal law. I think that we have, as I say, most of the candidates did not have AV ratings. Some of them have other challenges, and I want to say I really like them all. That's not what we're picking. It's not a popularity contest. Well, actually, it kind of is, but it really shouldn't be. We're trying to pick the best we have, and we need to have the choices. And we also need to have choices gender-wise, because we have right now 5 Supreme Court justices. We should have 3 women on them, or at least 2. I mean, the Democrats are always trying to even things up on the Central Committee among delegates, etc. Why do we have 1? And I might add, this is one who's talking about retirement. And when I looked at it, we only had 2 women candidates, neither of whom were AV rated, and each of whom had 1 or 2 other issues that they've had to deal with. And so I thought, well, I care about the system. I care about how people are treated, especially people who don't tend to have a voice, tend to be underserved. That's what I've done for all of my career. And if the courts fail them, they really have no recourse at that point. And I thought, well, this is what I do. There are a lot of ways to fight this fight, and I've been fighting from the ground up. And at this point, I'm going to fight from the top down.
So you encourage women to become practicing lawyers, and especially in areas where there's less representation, such as in the Native American.
Well, yes and no. I mean, I encourage women. I come from a family of women. I went to women's colleges. I love the kind of things that women do because they tend to be so nurturing and so selfless, and they're different kinds of thinking than a lot of men are. Of course, I encourage them, but I wouldn't always encourage them necessarily to take the lowest paying jobs, which I took. Working for tribes when I got out. They didn't have money. There was no gaming back then. There weren't very many women, and so it came naturally to me. There weren't that many men interested in not making money, and I don't encourage women to go into service law necessarily more than I would encourage men to do it. I would encourage any lawyers to give of themselves and to be a part of making us all better instead of just making the top 1% better. But I also really like the idea of women going into areas that they're not commonly in, as intellectual properties, patent law, laws, areas of law that involve sciences and engineering, environmental law, that sort of thing. I don't say they should just go into social service law, which is in effect what I've done for 30 plus years. Wherever they want to go, that's what I really think. People need to be able to do what they want to do and to grow in the ways they want to grow, to love the things they want to love, to help what they want to help, to marry who they want to marry, the whole gamut. These should be decisions that people make to help their community. And we all serve in different ways, and we're all here for different purposes. I think, although mine has been to serve, the reality is I think I was probably put here to provoke people a little bit. And I think some provocation is called for. People get a little comfortable, whether it's courts or individuals in your family, and sometimes you just have to challenge it and say, why aren't we doing better? Why are we losing judge after judge, month after month, to various things and improper activities? Why is New Mexico at the bottom of all the Judicial Watch and the judicial ratings systems? Why are we disrespected? Can I do something to improve that reputation? I think so. I want to. If I am given the chance, I will not let anybody down.
Well, thank you. It's good to have you on the show, and we look forward to seeing you again.
Thank you very much.